Welcome back to part 9, the meeting of the truth self and the mute child. This is possibly this is one of the most painful parts of healing as we move through these stages. And again, I'm going to get you to think a little bit about where you are on your journey in comparative to your symbolic collapse sequence, where you were around your internal orbit. What was making you collapse, what was making you angry, what was making you sad. And this is where you start mapping everything that's going on, but understand sometimes what you're seeing in behaviors is actually being expressed through another part. And there's reasons for that. So check back through these videos to hear how those 5 parts start interacting with each other. But this is whenever two different parts come together. The rage that turns inward. This is where many survivors think the worst is over. It's not. The worst has just begun. The collapse has happened. The world has shattered, but it hasn't yet rearranged itself. Instead, something cracks inside, and something meets. Two long separated parts of your psyche begin to sense each other. The mute child, long silenced, trapped in a state of emotional freeze, finally lifts its head. The truth self, locked beneath the weight of compliance and contradiction, led by the false protector, begins to stir. But this is not a beautiful reunion. It's brutal. It's not loss. It's not grief. It's not heartbreak. It is rage. Not shouted, not thrown, but buried and burning. How could they? How could I? What the hell did I let that happen to me for? This is not the longing phase. That's long gone. This is disgust. Disgust at them, disgust at ourselves, disgust at the false self, the one we now see in the mirror and want to destroy. We don't cry here. We shake, grit our fucking teeth, we curl inward. This is the phase where the false self protector, now fully exposed, becomes the internal punisher. Not just a mask, a weapon. We scream inside. You should have fucking known. You were weak. You wanted this. The rage doesn't go outward. It doesn't attack the narcissist. It loops back in on us. This is the revenge of the interject, the internalized narcissistic voice, now merged with the collapsed false self, tearing us apart from the inside. And here's the most terrifying part. You agree with it. The truth self, instead of rescuing, stands there, naked and horrified, unable to fight back, because it sees now what it didn't want to see. That was never allowed to live. That the life you lived wasn't yours. And that's the agony. That the person you became was a fantasy, not just for them, but for you too. There is no resolution here. There is no redemption, only exposure. This is the collapse of the internal simulation. This is where the libidinal fantasy becomes a site of moral nausea. You no longer want them. You no longer want yourself as you were, but you can't leave the body. So you scream at it instead, quietly, constantly, consistently. The psychic inversion is complete, and the only way forward is through.